Hello and welcome back to City Planner Plays, where we are building the city of Bluffside Crossing. And in today's episode, I want to take a look at the roadway network and fix some transportation and traffic problems with the roadway network. Way back in episode 11, that's back in September, I believe September 17th, I made a video where I created the ring highway around Bluffside Crossing. And I will readily admit that my skill with some of the mods at that time wasn't what it is today. So I want to take a look back at the ring highway and the roadway network in general and make some fixes. This is kind of in anticipation of some harbors that I'd like to place throughout the city. I want to make sure that the roadway network makes sense before I place those harbors. At the time, I'm not sure that I was respecting the topography the way that I should have been. And a lot of that has to do with my ability with the mods. But I'm significantly better now, so we're going to take a look. But I want to up the challenge. And I've heard in the comments a number of people asking me to turn despawning off, place this into hard mode, so we are going to do that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom way out here. We'll get all of this junk off. And then we'll take a look at our traffic. And I'm going to let this go on high for about 5 minutes. So, what this demonstrates is that following proper roadway hierarchy can really make you have a great roadway network. And it doesn't matter whether or not you have despawning on or off. I've been kind of jumping around between 75 and 79%, which is exactly where I was before I turned despawning on. But we're not without hotspots. There are certain areas that need some work. I think that this road, it's really the primary outlet here, and that's problematic. So what I've created here is, it's not a cul-de-sac, but all of the traffic is funneling onto this bridge. Then we have one bridge that is primarily for the tram, although pedestrians can walk on that too. And then we have a pedestrian and cycling bridge. So all of the roadway traffic is funneling through this roundabout. Still, it's not broken. Nope. Well, it's backing up a little bit, but things are still moving. And ultimately, that's what matters. Another hotspot. So this roundabout here is a little bit slow, but things are still moving appropriately. This roundabout here is broken, or not totally broken, but it has moments of failure. So this is a place that I think I might want to look at improving. I was really disappointed to see this not fail because I hate this. We're going to fix this today. This double trumpet craziness is not. That's weird. I don't like that. I don't think I was thinking this through when I put this together. And I don't like clover leaves, but that might be the solution here. Something is better than this. This intersection here is a problem. This should probably become a roundabout or something, but truthfully, I think the bigger problem is we have an arterial meeting a collector, meeting another collector here, collector. So many roads coming together all at once. And, this probably should be reconfigured in a way that prioritizes the primary movement. The primary movement is this movement here. So this would be coming from this this arterial, turning and going up here. So that should be the primary movement, and the other movements should not be the primary movements. That said, the amount of eminent domain needed to fix that is going to be crazy if we do it. That is not a today project. Another area where there's some congestion is over here by the business park. But it's not even really congestion. This roundabout bridge is working as it's supposed to. It's just busy. And one of the main reasons it's busy is when we removed the highway coming into downtown, you kind of forced all motorists to make a decision. Are you going right or are you going left to get to downtown? You can't go straight anymore. So it appears that most motorists are deciding to go right, looping back around and coming up this way. and using this as the primer. Let's check that out. So yeah, there's a lot of trips that are coming and using this roundabout. So it is dispersing traffic, which is something I cared about. And people are also coming this way and looping back around. There's a number of ways that people are taking to get places. And ultimately that redundancy is important. Now, a place where we don't have redundancy, this little industrial district. And so I was trying to recall, as I was sandboxing this episode, why I made this cul-de-sac with this crazy trumpet thing. And I remembered why. I didn't have the tiles purchased. And so gonna do a better review. So I didn't have the tiles purchased to move this. So I'm actually going to, let's get this city vitals out of the way. I'm going to purchase this tile and this tile. And this is something we are going to fix today. And then there's a little bit of congestion over here. Now this is I'm reluctant to say it's a bad design, but it is. Bluntly, we've got this access to the local into this district, which probably should be a collector, but we have a local road, and this local road is carrying all the traffic, and it's really close to the interstate. We're lucky it's not backing up. It probably should be. One quick fix here that I'll probably do is to just remove that signal. I don't think it's warranted necessarily. Actually, it probably is now that I think about it. The amount of traffic you'd see. We'll still operate without it for a little while. We'll see what that does to our traffic flow, because I think it might improve it. And with that, I think what I want to do, you can kind of see that, we have two areas that are cul-de-saced, and I just want to go into our topography and take a look at what some of our roads are doing. We've got some lumpies and bumpies, and I'm really unhappy with the way that this looks. This is very steep. We can do better, and we should do better, and we should have done better to start. We also got a bridge here, kind of arbitrarily, and there as well. This would be something that you would expect extensive grading to take place to remedy before you build the highway. Same thing here. You'd think that this would probably be raised up through here at some elevation level, because you wouldn't want a dip. You'd have some visibility questions, and it would just kind of be a scary drive in the best of conditions, and in the worst of conditions, really, really treacherous. And look at this. It's like that's terrible. Cars just going up and down, up and down, up and down. Let's get out of this view, and we'll turn on our topography lines using Touch It. And that's brutal. That is brutal. We're going to come back to this. I want to pay some special attention to that. The first place I want to take a look at, though, now that we know that our traffic is fine, is this area over here. Now, in reality, if we were going to rebuild this, boy, we would have to have some crazy bypass plan put together, because you don't just say, I have a plan for rebuilding this. You'll say, I have a plan for rebuilding this, and I have a staging plan for how that construction would take place. And that plan would be as complicated as the final design, because you're removing lanes, you're switching lanes, and that's why some of these projects take so long, because you have to really put a lot of time and effort into the initial planning of the closure, and that can take years to come up with the design and years to implement. That said, this is a game. So what would take years will take us an afternoon. So let's get rid of all of this. Okay, a nice fresh canvas to work with, and I really like that. So I really think I should have done some grading here. Whenever you have a high capacity road, you're going to have lots of grading. You'll see that when you see an interstate project. The amount of grading that is done prior to construction is really outstanding. It's really it's something to behold. So with that in mind, we're going to do the same thing. Now, I already know what I want to do here, and I will shine some light on that as I go about installing it. But the first thing we're going to do is get things ready. And actually, I think I went the wrong grade on this. We'll bring it up just a bit, a couple feet. And then we're going to raise everything up over here on the way to our bridge. And I know this looks rough right now. We will fix this in the future. But right now, we're more concerned about getting this right. Okay, so we've got this. Got a nice level pad to start working on. Let's start planning out what we are going to do here. Now, I know some people would say, I'm going to build this myself, but I don't want to reinvent the wheel. So I've got a number of interchanges already downloaded from the store. I really need to go through these and clean them up. I don't like many of these, but I do like this one, this industrial interchange. And one of the reasons I like it, it needs some work. I will be, more than upfront about that. But one of the reasons I like it is it does a really good job of dispersing traffic. Now we've got some problems. We've got this transformer here, this substation with no access now. We're going to move that. We're just going to use eminent domain, take some of these industrial warehouses, and everything's solved. We're also going to use a lot of eminent domain, taking these buildings away here as well. We're going to try our best to line this up with our existing road and place that right there. Now there is a bit of an offset, and we'll need to remedy that. But right now, we are okay. That said, let's make these couple of connections. So this is overkill coming out of the roundabout, so I'm going to take these down. They've also just used kind of a conventional 6-lane arterial road here. I think I'm going to use the national 4-lane highway to meet these together, and that'll speed things up as people are leaving. There is this stub. I think I'm going to upgrade that to a collector, and we'll just leave that there for the time being. The nice thing about this change is it gives us the ability to operate on the other side of the highway. So I like that. I think that would be a good thing from a planning standpoint to open up this other land for development. So next, we need to figure out how we're going to meet up with this highway. And I don't like anything that's happening with this. I didn't build this, so I don't feel bad about destroying it. So what I'm thinking here, first of all, I think I need to expand my pad a bit. You start to see just how big things are when you start building. So we're going to need to think about two things right off the bat, and that is where we meet up with this road and where we meet up with this one, and how that connection is going to work. This is the junction that I had in mind. So I really, really, really love this junction. I've used this in this series before, and I think it would work really well right here. So what I'm thinking is we will have this junction here, and we will direct this around to this freeway connection here and over to the bridge here. This bridge is now too low, so we're going to have to rebuild this bridge. This would be probably the most expensive project in the city ever. So not for the faint of heart, certainly. So I am going to I want these to be parallel, so I'm going to create a new node, throw some anarchy on, and I'm going to do all of my planning with this using the dirt roads. I just find it to be a little bit easier. So get those to the same height, and then we'll get building. So I'm going to turn off my road guidelines here. I don't think they're helping me. I think they're making things harder. Now I'll turn them back on so I can meet up with that bridge. And I went a little bit too far on the straight segment, so I'm going to back this out and give it another shot. It is a significantly nicer connection. Let's mirror that for the other road. Now, I know I could have probably tried to use the parallel road tool, but for the amount of futzing and a putzing that I'd be doing, it's just not, in my mind, worth it. I kind of want to see, I'm a little, all right, so I think I was getting a little bit too far away from the original bridge, which would make it look weird. I'm okay moving this off. We're going to have to. These roads don't line up perfectly, but I'd much rather do that on the way to this highway than with the bridges themselves. So, okay, we've got this. I'm going to upgrade these, and then we'll make our connections. I don't want to forget this here, so I won't. Ooh, there's an extra node there, I think. Oh, no. It's reversing directions. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, power lines are re-established. Good there. Now, I just kind of want to take a look and survey. Does this look good? Ooh, that is smooth. That is good. Nice and clean. So let's make our connections over here to our new interchange. We'll do the exact same thing over here. We'll get all this stuff to be 100% perfect over time, but we've made our connections there. Don't want to forget about them. Now, same thing here. So I think I am going to start this curve a little bit sooner than it wants me to. We could freestyle with that a little bit, so that's exactly what I did. Now I'm going to go through and look at all of my directionality and make sure that it's right, because I know it's not. I'm noticing kind of a weird, janky little edge here, so we'll get that fixed. Good. The other thing that I don't love in this particular location is I'm going really quickly down off this bridge, which leads to a pretty steep connection. So while I'm here, let's just remedy that real quick. Good. We're also dipping down kind of arbitrarily, and all of that makes this a less smooth connection. So if you came to see topography completely disrespected, you're in luck. That is what we're doing today. We are taking the topography and forcing it to do our bidding. So, good enough. All right, a little bit more of that type of work here. I think this should probably be a bridge. Yeah, that looks a lot better, in my humble opinion. So let's clean up some of this earthwork that we did. Okay, not perfect, but very good. And that works for me. So now there's such a significant elevation change here that you can't even see where the highway is supposed to meet up. So we're gonna need to do some significant earthwork here to create a clear path for the highway. And I'm trying to think of the best way to approach this, and I'm thinking it might actually be to just put the road in and grade after the fact. And again, like we did over on the other side, the other freeway, we're gonna create a nice even landing for ourselves. Then we'll just mirror that. Okay, so you might be thinking, how do we fix this mess? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward in my mind. So, a lot of it's going to be going through and adjusting object heights. And then a big part of it's going to be, we want to take all of these nodes, we're going to select them all and slope them. So that's all I want to select here. And it's going to carve it right in for us. And once more, I'm going to go for broke here. There we go. And you see how this carved it right in. But look at how smooth. Oop. Look at how smooth that was before I moved it all over the place. Okay, we do need to do a little bit of work here too. I think that we didn't really factor in these nodes down here. Yeah, that makes a significant difference. And you see it spreads these grading marks out quite a bit, which is very helpful. Those roads are very even now. So let's get these upgraded. These are a little closer than I'd like them to be, but we've got a fix for that. We will get to that. So this ramp is kind of crazy. So I'm going to move this up, this node, and step this back. Okay, so now we just need to make this not look insane. So that's our next objective. So I'm taking what I think would be the primary movements on the roads and prioritizing those, giving those 2 lanes. And I know that roadway hierarchy believers are not going to love what I'm doing here, but I'm giving people the option to merge in. So, sorry, Biffa. So I'm just wondering if I have one too many nodes, and that's why I'm kind of struggling with this. And I think that was the case. If you get too many nodes, it can be a little bit of a struggle to make some of these merges look clean. So just clean it up a little bit, remove a little bit of that, and yeah, much nicer. I'm going to go into Node Controller and try to clean up some of these slopes. And I'm sorry, I keep going back and forth on a couple of these. Okay, I think that's significantly better. So now we have this grading to worry about. Also got some kind of weird stuff going on here, and hopefully the grading will fix some of that. So let's do it. I'm going to go with a really wide brush and really work to clean some of this mess up that we made. Now we could use the right mouse button to kind of create a bit of a cliff along the side, which I think is kind of a neat look. You would imagine that they'd be blasting to make this connection work, so it's not completely unreasonable. I think I'm going to do that just for the aesthetic. Yeah, I like that. So, okay, let's make sure our directionality is right, and then we'll run this. And it looks like we're good. And why don't we take a look at our traffic? Oh, I think that That's working really well. I like that. But I do see a significant issue. Actually, I wanted to look. Okay. I realized I got rid of this power line at one point. I want to make sure it was still working. So I do see a significant issue, and that is still that this area is a cul-de-sac. Now, why would I say it's a cul-de-sac? There's a grid there. It can't be a cul-de-sac. No, it is a cul-de-sac. There's one way onto the highway, and no other evacuation route is available. It also means that if you're coming in here, there's only one way to get in, and that is right here. Now you see the backups happening. They are significant and they are severe, and that is because we are backing up. Let's take a look. So this stoplight right here is backing up to the roundabout, which is backing up to the highway, where everyone's merging to get in together. Oh, that is terrible. All right, let's play with the lanes a little bit. And then I want to play with this roundabout as well. So we don't have roundabout settings applied. That will help set up the giveaways. Same thing here. Hopefully that'll improve things. And I kind of want to just look to make sure that there are no stop signs or crazy things happening. I don't see anything. The speed's a little high on the roundabout, and if I wanted to get really specific about it, I think that fixing those speeds might not be the worst problem. Then we've got vehicles like this one that doesn't know how to use a roundabout, so that will mess things up too. So truthfully, until there's another way to get to this area, I think we're going to see issues. That said, who needs to worry about issues when you could worry about painting cement? We'll do gravel. Gravel is much more appropriate in this area. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I do not like this backup, though. What are you guys doing to me? That is truly bizarre. They're all in the right-hand lane. Every last one of them. And it's starting from over here. So let's... Interesting. I have no idea why they think that the best place to enter the roundabout. Well, and they're doing some weird stuff over here too. I'm wondering if I get rid of a node. Maybe 2 nodes. We'll see what that does. Maybe just for the sake of balance, I'll do the same thing over here. Straightens out the road, gives it a better look, in my opinion. We do need to fix this now. Oh, you know what? I can't believe I didn't notice this. We have trees in the road. That might be a reason. Just kind of do a quick survey of all the work I've just done to make sure that we don't have any other trees in the road. I don't know that that is the reason why this is occurring, but I can't imagine it helps. So I think it might have been a bad idea actually to get rid of that node. All right, well, I will have to do a little bit of work to figure that out. There's something strange happening, I think, with my nodes that's causing people to feel like they have to merge. Another idea. Let's take a look at where these cars are going. And most of them are... Oh, interesting. A whole bunch of these cars are looping back around. I know the problem. This is wrong. Okay, that would cause a traffic jam. a whole bunch of cars going the wrong way down this roundabout and cars trying to avoid them. Alright, that was a boneheaded mistake, but I'm glad we were able to troubleshoot it because that was troubling. So this will resolve over time. So I do want another connection in here though. So let's take a look at our topography. And one of the nice things is with this reconfiguration, we have a whole bunch more land that we could expand this industrial area into now, because one of the unfortunate things that we did is we kind of created a situation over here where we're landlocked. We could try to expand this over, but we'd have to do a lot of reconfiguration of this roadway corridor to make it work. So I think what I want to do right now is figure out a way to make a connection between this district and this part of the city. And there seems to be a natural connection in my mind that might be a little controversial in yours. And that is, I'm going to put a roundabout right here, go along the riverbanks, cross at as short a section as I can possibly connect at, and then come up here, switching back and forth until I get back over here. So I think for that, I am going to use a national road. And I'm not going to pause this. I'm going to create a bunch of traffic jams and I'll fix it at the end. We're going to try to respect the topography, although in the beginning it's going to be very difficult. I am going to force this to be ground level. That'll be the way that I make the topography respect me. So I think at right about here is where I want to cross. So I'm going to angle back and then bring it back around. And I'll let it do what it thinks is best here. Now there's a decent chance that I mess these power lines up, so I am going to pause it for a second. Again, force that ground connection. And we're going to need to do some grading after the fact. We're just going to slowly increase our elevation, going up about 10 meters every 10 or so units. And then I think we're going to switch back around over here. We use anarchy to make that happen because I know that this isn't going to go over well. And now I just need to figure out where we're going to connect up over here. So I think we don't have to use eminent domain right here. So this would probably be the best location. Let's back this out just a little bit. And then we'll make our connection. This will be a little bit slower because this is going to be a sharp turn. Apparently I've decided it's one way. So, all right. So this is not our final resting place with this road. We're going to do some leveling. And this is probably the spot where it needs it the most. This is very, very, very steep. Crazy steep. So, and that didn't work. Well, maybe it did. I guess it's all a matter of perspective. Okay, that did work. All right, so I think this is a lot easier to navigate now. It's still a steep road with some turns. And apparently a flat top right there. We got to take care of that. And you can kind of see the topographic lines spreading, which is exactly what we would want. That means it's flatter the further those are away from one another. Yeah, so that's good. Alright, so I think I'm going to use node controller before we clean this up, just to see if there's anything I can do. Then over here, I'm noticing a dip. Bring that up. No reason to have that dip there. Same thing here, another dip. and kind of a smooth progression up to this area. Now I want to put a roundabout here, and I know this is going to be controversial. First of all, we need this terrain to be totally different. Again, like I said, topography. Today we are your master. You will respect us. So we'll bring this up. We're going to lower this down, and then we're going to need to do some significant sloping down the line to make this work. So we'll hop out of here, go into our roundabout builder, throw in a nice sized roundabout, and then we'll continue our work on the slopes, because we can't have an approach to these that is janky and crazy. It needs to be relatively flat in its approach. Okay, so that in my mind is significantly better. The biggest problem I see here is we need this to be kind of close to a 90 if at all possible. By kind of close, I mean I'm going to make it a 90. So okay, so I think this is significantly better. Again, we're going to want to play with the slopes a little bit to make sure that we're sloping into the roundabout. I might actually take that last node and get that as straight as possible. Okay, so I can keep futzing and putzing with this, but it's just probably where it's going to be. So now we need to figure out this roundabout. So I think I'm going to do a 4-lane road because we have 2 collectors coming into, or 2 arterials coming into here, the 2 3-lane arterials, and then this is also an arterial technically as a highway. So we would also want that to have a pretty significant number of lanes. Now this almost turns into a traffic circle with that many lanes, and it certainly is if we have signals there. So we're going to get rid of those signals. Those should not be there. It is going counterclockwise, so that's perfect. And now we need to fix the terrain. Again, we'll feather this out. And then I do want to level this ground a little bit here. We also have kind of a weird approach into the roundabout, so I think we're going to need to fix that a little bit as well. Just want to square that up as much as I can. Same thing over here. And truthfully, on this one, it seems like there's an extra node, and that will probably help quite a bit. So there was some eminent domain to make this happen. We thank you for your land, because it was necessary. So let's clean this up a little bit. All right, so now we have another path to get over to our district. Man, this road just bugs me. Just hold on, I've got to fix this. This isn't sitting well with me. Now there is no topography to speak of, so to have such challenging connection. Okay, that makes me a ton happier. I think that is significantly better. So let's get back into it, and let's see if people actually use this new road. You can already see a couple of cars going up and down. We do need to do... Oh, whoa. Forgot about power. I knew that was coming. So let's get that reestablished. Back in business. All right. So I do want to do a little bit of earthwork over here as well. You know, we kind of just meandered and forced our way up the hillside. So let's do a little bit of grading. So the other thing is we have quite a significant grade jump over here, and knowing that these are heavy vehicles that will be using this road, That's a little less than ideal. Let's get that remedied. And then do some grading there as well. Okay. Much better. I know there was a lot of grading. But, you know, in this kind of scenario, I don't think that is at all unreasonable. Because if you think about it, these are very expensive roadways. The last thing you want to do is do them over, like we did over here. So you'd think that they'd want to get it right the first time and they'd spend the money to do it right. This is a crazy backup here. I don't think that this is ideal, having a signal right in the middle of this area. Now that this is an arterial. An arterial kind of dumping into this local road. Ideally, you'd probably have a roundabout here. Maybe sever some of these connections or make this a collector. Yeah, it's tough. This is a really difficult place to actually follow roadway hierarchy. Short of having this be an arterial that meets up with this one and having collectors coming off from there. So we might have some issues here. I just kind of want to see. Ooh. Make improvements. Destroy the traffic flow. So another idea. So if we have a one-way couplet, that is a collector. So why don't we do that? So that said, we're going to need to reimagine this a little bit. So let's back this out just a bit. We'll see what this does. Hoping that this doesn't turn into people looping back around here for, or we could just kill the entire district by eliminating their access to power. Okay, this should remedy that. We have some places that we can zone up here too, so before I forget about it, let's just do that. I also want to turn the zoning off on these roads here. That is not the purpose of those roads. It is to disperse traffic and hopefully stop this chaos. So the other thing, we have this collector going through here, and I'm wondering if it makes the most sense just to eliminate this altogether, because it is creating a stop, and we don't want a stoppage through here. So this is fun for me because this is not at all how I would approach fixing a traffic problem like this in reality. You don't have the opportunity to fix it. In some cases, that's why you have areas that are perpetually backed up and everyone knows it, and you're stuck. So in an area like this, having the ability to actually fix it in the game is a blast. Okay, too many overlays. What I'm trying to do now is I'm noticing that these vehicles are stopping because of issues they're having. So you have a bunch of stops here for no reason. So I don't want any stopping at all. So what I'm going to try to do is provide we're going to have fires. is provide a way for people to get to where they want to go without stopping. Now, truthfully, I kind of wonder if this road is creating more harm than good, because you see that people are using it as kind of a shortcut to come back around, creating congestion in other areas. But I think some of this might resolve itself over time. There's just a really significant backup at this point. Why don't we let this run again for a couple minutes and see what happens? So I'm starting to wonder if maybe a little bit of lane mathematics might help in this location. Now the math's still all off here, but it's a little bit better. So hopefully I mean, it's just kind of a struggle because you have these cars over here that are trying to get... Everyone's trying to stay in this lane. Oh, hold on. For some reason we lost that. Did we lose it here too? So I wonder if it's as simple as that little change there, giving people the comfort they need to get in the correct lane. There does appear to be an extra node here. Okay, so things have improved. So that was a little bit of a marathon to make that work, but I like where we've ended up. Let's take a look at our new road. Seems like it's carrying a fair bit of traffic. Let's look at our routes. Look at that. Clearly this was a desirable route to have. Interestingly, we're just bleeding population. Lots of jobs. One thing that we might have wanted to do over here, this wouldn't be a super desirable place to live from a traffic standpoint, but I imagine there would be people who would want the nice water view. So why don't we take some of this and build some houses along it. And we have rural power lines now, so why don't we use those to bring the power down here. Also need some water. And these probably should have been the heat pipes, but I forgot. So I am going to loop them though. It's important. And then I'm going to let this sim just for a minute. We'll see how this goes. And I think I have a quick answer to that question. Slow. One other thing that might be kind of nice in a kind of a little outpost like this. Let's put a couple of little area of commercial. This will give these folks over here who don't really have a lot else in close proximity, at least a place to go and shop. Because, you know, there aren't schools in close proximity. This is a place you'd expect there to be some busing. Wow. That is brutal. I am not gonna, I can't not do anything about that. So I was gonna just leave it, but I am who I am. I must fix this. All right, that made me feel better. So thank you for dealing with my craziness. So okay, so now we kind of have this little area, little residential enclave down here where people get to enjoy the quiet life, yet still be close to big city amenities. In fact, so close, the stadium looms over you. So I would imagine this would be a phenomenal place to live down here. Get a nice water view, no real risk of flooding because I'm not making dams. And also, you know, these are up on a cliff a little bit, so you know, you might not get the ability to put a boat there or anything, but I am noticing that we have some weird buildings developing here. By weird, I mean we have the slums developing by the water. So I think I am going to give this a zone and set a theme. And I really like this European suburbia. Maybe I'll just do European as well. Oh. International. Basically everything but trailer homes, and we certainly don't want this graffitied building just appearing by the water. Do we have any more of those? I don't think so. Oh, we have a mobile home. Okay. So now we'll get some nicer buildings showing up down here. I just want to make sure it's not those ones. That is not what this area is. I guess maybe it could be this. Is this a nice looking mobile home? Sorry. Generally, mobile homes are not allowed in any zoning district except for one zone for mobile homes. And the reason why mobile homes have become, or mobile home parks have become so valuable is they're generally not a land use category that gets approved anymore. It's not. I have mixed emotions. I know that mobile homes are affordable housing on one hand. On the other hand, they're substandard housing. And I think it's kind of predatory in nature because you don't own your land, you own your trailer, which though it's considered a mobile home is not truly mobile. It's fixed. You try to move it, a lot of times they break. So you end up in a situation where you're attached to this trailer in this particular location and you can't move, and the landowner has the ability to crank the land value up to whatever they want it to be. So it's really kind of the worst of renting and the worst of home ownership all in one, because if your furnace goes out, you're fixing it, and then you're still paying that rent. So you might have it's a bad situation. That rent can fluctuate. So it's the worst of all worlds. So if that said, if someone in a mobile home could buy their mobile home and place it on their own land, I think it would make sense. But that's not often what happens. So anyway, we're in a good spot right now. I want to finish out the ring highway, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it today. So I think this is going to be a two-parter. You notice that we're backing up again. Boy, oh boy, bugs me. Might need to give this a little bit more review to figure out exactly what we do to make this work. And maybe that, I gotta try one more thing. Hold up, Phil from the past. This is Phil from the future, and I'm here to tell you that you are about to make a catastrophic error, and that error is reacting, not planning. So I'm going to save you, the audience, the grisly details of my catastrophic failure, where I take this entire neighborhood and further break it, and let you know that I'm going to dedicate another episode to this neighborhood. I end up taking a slow motion dumpster fire that's rolling down a hill towards a forest, and I give it a nudge and I make it go down that hill faster. And I really don't want to subject you to that. This was tedious, boring, and in general, not fun. So we're going to plan this out, do a better job, and fix it the right way in a future episode. So I'm going to end it here. If you like this video, please consider hitting the like button. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. And hit that notification bell if you want to be notified when I release new videos. And I also want to give a quick shout out to my Patreon Community Development Director level supporters. I really appreciate your support. You make this content possible. Everyone stay tuned for a quick cinematic of the city. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.